As highly motivated amateur or professional ballroom dance competitors, we all go through dark times where we believe that our ballroom dance career is over. And I'm going to share my hopeless times in my dance career with you. And spoiler alert, they all ended up with victories. With me ending up even happier and even more skilled and fulfilled of a dancer in the end, okay? So, number one, as I shared in a YouTube short a while back, I lost my first pro partner. I was partner dumped, okay, guys? And when you're competing, especially as a professional, it's a relatively small partner selection pool. But what I learned the next day is I almost immediately had many partner options. And I have a couple theories as to why this is. Number one, there's more of an attrition rate for female ballroom dance competitors, not pros where they teach, but for a variety of reasons, they tend to retire earlier. So there's a little bit less to choose from. Okay. And number two, at that time, I owned the largest ballroom dance studio in the United States. So I could have any pro in the world come in and I would be able to provide a full clientele because I was very heavily booked. And we had about 2,000 students coming into the studio every month. So at that stage of the game, I even came from the kind of, I'll say, pole position of being able to sponsor on an international work visa and cherry pick the partner of my choosing. So within like a week or two, I had 7 legit champ level partners. Now, what I chose to do, and I'm very glad I did, I didn't go with the most accomplished dancer. I went with an American dancer that I already knew very well. I had shared a hotel room with, so I knew the personality very well, and I knew we would get along. Because for me, the ballroom dance experience isn't just about becoming a good dancer. I personally need to enjoy the path there. So unlike, I forget who it was on Dancing Queens, but she had this really abusive partner. You know, that's not my jam. I'd personally rather not dance at all than have a partner who berates me and treats me poorly. And my next partner did treat me exponentially better and appreciated me and treated me with kindness, and was reliable compared to that partner that dumped me. So that ended up being a massive win. And I will be thankful to him for the rest of my life for moving here from out of state, to be able to dance with me. So that was a joy. Okay, number two. I was competing initially in my career and I found that the top dancers were coming out of New York. I tracked down who that coach was or the coaches. And I was like, yeah, I need to switch to these coaches if I want to be a finalist too. And so after my very first trip to New York City, I spent 9 days straight there, 11 days straight, to taking as many private lessons as I could cram in every single day. So I got a ton of lessons from the top pros in the country. They were producing the entire US final and semifinal rounds, and they taught many of the top pros in the world too. So anyway, I came out of that experience just like immediately seeing this insane improvement in my dancing, and I was so thrilled. And so we flew back home, and then within a week, we had our first competition following that hardcore, intense coaching. And guys, I didn't make the final. And to make things much, much, much uglier, I watched the final and they sucked. They were horrible. They were ugly. I was like, okay, I'm an ugly dancer. I'm even uglier than what I just saw. I have no potential. If I can invest in thousands of dollars in coaching, hardcore, focusing on nothing else, 12 hours a day, and come back and not have got any better, I'm wasting my time. And I don't want to beat my head against a wall. I didn't get into competition to lose or be a bad dancer, even worse. Okay, guys, so I spent the entire 3-hour car ride home from that comp bawling my eyes out. And my partner and I were both like, well, obviously we have reached our potential and, we made a good go of it and we, did pretty well up till this, but that is what it is. And so we both decided to quit. But we had prepaid for an IDSF and a world ranking competition the next weekend where we prepaid, for the travel, for the hotel, for all the workshops. We prepaid for private lessons, the comp fees. We're like, okay, well, we're not going to lose all of our money here. We'll just show up there and try and have a nice time. I don't even know if we practiced that week. And we believed we were going to stop dancing and had made peace with that. Although it was soul crushing. It was devastating. Because up to that point, when we saw visiting coaches, like, oh, you have so much potential. And I thought, oh, well, I guess we have no potential. So anyway, we went up to this comp and we not only made the final in both of our events, we won first place in both of our events. And put your seatbelts on. All of those couples we had competed against 1 week earlier who beat us didn't even make the final. And it was jaw-dropping to me to learn that day that judging can be biased and judges can choose to mark their students over you. I'm not even saying it's political and money-based, though, frankly, I think sometimes it is. But obviously, their students are going to do what they think looks good, which, in my opinion, is the benefit of taking from visiting coaches. If you want the marks, just find out what their pet peeve is and throw that down at the next comp where you see them. Excuse me. So, obviously, we went home back to the United States with the 2 biggest trophies I had ever seen and a renewed sense of, okay, I'm not the ugliest dancer in the world. I do have potential. I did not waste missing over a week of work and thousands of dollars and all that hard work trying to get in with these pros, and I didn't let them down. It was just like, I might as well have taken a hit of cocaine, guys. So, that was just, to say that was a good ending would be an understatement. It just made the victory that much more sweet. Okay, guys, so you're not going to win them all. And there might be something at play you didn't even know about. Okay, number 3. It was really, again, devastating. When we got to the championship level, we actually learned this at the championship level as amateurs, how heavily politics would come into play at the championship level, okay? We got to the point where our coaches were just like, straight up, if you want to start placing higher, you're going to cap out until you take political lessons, which in a nutshell, from my perspective, is lessons from people that I don't enjoy, that I don't feel like I'm getting nothing out of the lesson, and I'm just paying them so I can sit and pretend like I'm interested or enjoying myself and that I'm getting anything out of that lesson. And so I knew going forward from there, okay, well, I can take lessons to get marks because I only have so much money. If you have loads of money, do it all, but I didn't. Or I can choose lessons with the pros that I enjoy, that I know for a fact I'm leaving a more educated and more skilled dancer. And I chose the latter. I chose to take only with pros that I love taking from, that I understood everything that they were saying. And there were different approaches, but I only took with the pros I liked. And it was a little bit soul crushing to know, well, I'm doing that at the expense of my marks. I don't regret it one iota, especially since then pursuing a career in teaching, because I'd much rather, I get a long-term benefit, lifelong career benefit from learning to dance well, and most important, learning to teach well, than teach in a way that at least doesn't speak to my soul. That's just not going to work for me. Okay, and finally, number 4, retiring as a pro was pretty depressing, guys. And what happened was I absolutely loved every second of my competition life, other than the soul-crushing blows I shared previously. And I didn't want to retire. However, my second pro partner that I chose, and I went in fully knowing this, was quite a bit older than me and had some long-term orthopedic injuries, arthritis, things that were going to hold back his dancing. And these, in the end, took him out right before Blackpool. He had, you know, steroid injection at his feet. I mean, he gave, you know, the 100% to try and continue. And he's like, I just can't do it anymore. I have to retire. And dancing is the ultimate team sport. I can't go to Blackpool alone. And so, yeah, he retired from competitive dancing at that point, and then really had to cut back on teaching as well. Fortunately, he has a lot of other life skills he can use. But anyway, I was so sad, but at the same time, literally, guys, within a couple days, I had people reaching out to me. I didn't reach out to them. They heard that my partner was gonna not dance anymore, and they reached out to me to compete with me as a professional, which is extremely flattering. I chose to retire as well at that point, though, because you know what? That is the inevitable end to a professional dancer's career. You cannot compete at the pro championship level until you're 100 years old. Pro-am is a different game, but guess what, guys? Once you compete at that pro level, you can't compete in pro-am. So you really, at that point, need to structure a retirement from competition for yourself. And that is sad, but I'll tell you what, guys, it's not a full retirement if you compete pro-am as the pro. And you know what? There is a total rewarding joy in that experience too that I did not anticipate, okay? And so you can continue to dance a ton. And I can say this in terms of turning pro and retiring from competition. One of the wonderful benefits is you actually have the time to dance. I was able to dance more the entire time I've been teaching than even when I was competing at my max, because you're busy, and I was running the ballroom dance, ginormous studio. Or when I was an amateur, I was working full time. So that has absolutely been an unexpected, joyful blessing in retiring from pro competition. So I hope you found that to be interesting. And friends, if you are experiencing, lows and demoralizing times in your dancing, that's normal. I do not know any high-level dancer who has not gone through that repeatedly in their career. But you know what? It's going to go up and down and up and down and up and down. But you know what? In the end, you are going to come out on top. So hope that's been interesting. I apologize. I've gone way over the time I wanted to. I look forward to seeing you first thing in the morning. If you enjoy all things ballroom dance, hit that subscribe button. We'd love to have you here. We are a worldwide worldwide community of ballroom dancers. And I love hearing your stories because I am just one person in a world of ballroom dancers, friends. And I love hearing your stories. And I know all of our other ballroom friends here from around the world share these common experiences and goals and joys and challenges. So if you've had a challenge you feel comfortable sharing, hey, please share it below. And also if there's a story that you're comfortable sharing with me that you don't want, you know, to be attributed to your name, hey, shoot me a message on Facebook. And I would love to share that here on my channel, but when those of you who choose to message me privately, I will never, ever, ever reveal your identity or even what part of the world you're in. So thanks for joining me today, guys. I hope you have an awesome night. I look forward to seeing you first thing in the morning. Happy dancing. Doodles.